Hello, it's Claire here, ready to do my May 2016 update for Flosstube. I'm a few days late, it's actually the 5th of June today, so playing a little bit of catch up, but this is the first time I've had to actually record this week. So, last month was StitchMaynia. Last year when I did StitchMaynia, I participated kind of in, I guess, the original version, although there seems to be lots of different versions you can do with StitchMaynia, which actually I really like, the fact that it's very flexible. And certainly this year it worked out for me. So whereas last year I did the 15 new starts in the first 15 days, this year I knew that I wouldn't be able to manage that number of new starts. And if you've watched any of my latest or more recent updates, you know I've been trying to focus on some of the projects that I've already got going. So I decided for this StitchMaynia I would do it slightly different, so a different version, and rather than do 15 new starts I would try and do 15 monarchs. So this was going to be part of this pattern that you can see in front of you. I'll just bend it down so you can see the top. So this is the Kings and Queens kit by Bothy Threads, and there are, I can't remember how many monarchs, I did count them on here, but there are a lot of kings and queens on here. And my initial goal was to get 15 of them done. So I'd already started this pattern, and I think last time you'd seen it, let me move this out for you, I had done this bottom row along here, I'd done the 4 above, so these 4, and I'd also done these 4 across the top here. So actually what I got done for StitchMaynia, and it started pretty well for me, let's see if I can fold this so you can see it, I got these 3 done across the top, so I got the 3 done completely, including the back stitch, the metallic that's in them, which is a horrible DMC metallic, which yeah, really don't enjoy stitching with that, but luckily it's only in small kind of small sections, so it's just about tolerable. So I did the first 3, and then things slowed down because I think first day of May I think was a Sunday, I want to say, and then there was a bank holiday, so I did quite well to start with, but then it got a bit slower, so I managed to do these 3 on the row below, and then I did 4 more on the row below that. But as you can see, these, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I managed 10 in total in the first 15 days, and but I didn't manage to get all the back stitching done on these. So all the stitching's done. I think I did all the metallic by the looks of it. Although, is there some stitching? No, that is stitched on these ones, but I didn't manage to do any of the back stitching. So when it got to day 16, and I thought, well, I could focus on some back stitching, I actually went back and I did the back stitching along the top here. So Stephen and Henry weren't back stitched, and I didn't have the names, so I've added those in, and I got as far as doing the bow here on this load. In fact, I think I've still got a needle somewhere on there, as you do. That's as far as I got, and that's when things got even more busier for me, because I knew May was going to be a difficult month. So it's the end of semester, so for me that means there's marking and all the deadlines that I have to get through. Work has been quite challenging recently, and I was not particularly happy about a few things that have been going on, and the biggest thing was the impact it was having on me, and I was feeling quite stressed and getting anxiety symptoms. So I decided, having been through something similar quite a few years ago, that I really wasn't prepared to make myself unwell over my job. So I applied for a new job in the middle of May. I had an interview a week ago, and I'm really pleased to say that I was successful. So I actually have a new job as well to start in the next couple of months. So May became quite intense for a variety of reasons. and I don't know if you can tell, but I have had a horrible cold. So this is 2 weeks now that I've had a cold, and I just still can't shake it. So yeah, I think having had a week off last week, everything from kind of April, May, beginning of May caught up with me, and this is the kind of result. But, you know, things are starting to look a little bit better because, as I said, I have got this new job. I just need to sort out the logistics of start dates, etc., how long I've got to kind of remain in my current post. But regardless of how stressful or whatever that is, at least I know there's kind of an end to it, really. So stitching did take a little bit of a backseat in May, and I knew going into May that would be the case. I just didn't realise quite how much it would impact on my stitching, because I actually had a week off, so I thought that'd be great, I could get loads of stitching done. But no, I don't think I stitched for probably a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, that I just didn't stitch because either I wasn't very well, or I was trying to get ready for an interview, or I was working at the weekend getting stuff marked and ready for review and submission. So yeah, so I'm really pleased that May's over and it's now June. So yeah, so that's quite a bit of progress I've made on this one, and it's quite nice to see it grow, because I can't remember when I started it. I've been working on it for quite a long time, but that's, in terms of cross stitching, that's the full top half of this pattern done. So I fold it. That's the kind of the top half there, minus the back stitch, and there's just a bit more metallic that I have to put in. So I don't know when I'll go back to this. I'll probably pop it aside for a little bit for now. But it was nice to have it out as a bit of a focus piece for a while and get some significant work done on it. So one of the other patterns I had worked on and I've pulled back out is my Country Cottage Needleworks Santa's Village, and I'm doing this all on one large piece of fabric. I still haven't finished this one. So last time you saw it at the end of April, beginning of May, I had this colour missing. So I think it's called Peanut Brittle. So I ordered it, I stitched it in, and finished the house and the Santa's sack that's on the sleigh. I can't find the colour to do the runners for the sleigh. I have no idea what I've done with it. So after I've done this videoing, I'll see if I can find it, because I seem to have misplaced that colour, and also one of the colours I need for the potting shed. So hopefully they're hanging out somewhere in a drawer together, so I should dig them out. So yeah, just a little bit more work on that, and I have actually started work on the next cottage, but I just thought I'd show you that there has been some progress made on that one. Celtic Santa, or Celtic Santa, I'd done a little bit of work on. So this is the Welsh one. I think last time I showed you this one. If I hadn't finished the cross stitching on it, I was pretty much done on the cross stitching. So actually what I've gone back to do is the beading on this one. So as you can see, maybe you can't because it might want something behind it. Let's use this. Here you go. That's better. So as you can see, I've now done the beading on him. And what I've got left to do on this one is just the lacings on the boots or shoes, I'm not quite sure, kind of boots I suppose, aren't they? And then the beard to work out. But I think I just ran out of time on the day that I was working on this. And I also noticed when I was looking at earlier, there is a stitch up here that I haven't fully crossed, so I need to dig out that colour and complete that so that he's done. I was hoping to have that as a finish this month, but I just don't think May was the month for really being able to get the finish in. So maybe next time I do an update, that one will be sorted. So another thing I pulled out briefly to work on was my potting shed. I'll just put this down a bit so you can see the top of it. I didn't get a lot done on this. I pulled it out, when did I do it? I can't even remember when I did it. I pulled it out one day, and it's been a few months since you've seen this one, but I'd made a few colour errors on it, and I was thinking that I would just leave them, but I thought actually, you know, sometimes I find if I put something away and then come back to it, it's easier to just start frogging it at that point than trying to do it at the time when I make the mistake. So I've just started taking out the colours. You can see I've just done a bit of frogging on this one because this shelf here should be the same colour way as this shelf here, and it kind of bothered me that the two didn't match. So this is probably what I'm going to work on after I finish this. This will stay out for this week. So yeah, so I did that, and then I just moved down the bottom and I've just added the wheelbarrow in. So not a huge amount done on that one. I think that was kind of an evening's work, just kind of getting this bit in down the bottom here. But I know that I did the wrong colouring on the watering can, so I want to take that out. This one, it's charted on the pattern, but actually there is a bead for it, or not a bead, I suppose it's a button in that size, that I actually bought. And also I bought a button for the flower pot here, but again that was charted on the pattern, so I'd stitched it. So I had thought I was just going to leave them, but I think I will actually take the stitching out, so I think that will be my job this evening. But there's not a huge amount left to do on this one, so I'm hoping that this month this one might get done, because it's mainly this middle bit here. I didn't actually pull out the pattern, but I've got the book ready to go, so I can show you a picture just in case you've never seen this before. So this is the potting shed. I can't quite get it all in just with the angle of the camera, so I'll just lift it up and show you. So that's the potting shed. So you can see here it's got the button here, and it's got this terracotta button down here as well. So the main thing to do is this bit in the middle, and then just kind of back stitching and finishing off. So I'll have a good go at that kind of within June, I think. Put that to one side. I had to order the thread for finishing off the Santa's Village pattern, that peanut brittle colour, which I didn't have. So I also did some pair of scissors there. I also ordered the threads that I had missing for this one. So last time I showed this, I had done this first one here, but I was missing a couple of the colours. So I've gone back and added those in. So this one is pretty much done. There's just a few pin stitches of snowflakes I need to do, but I'll have to be in the mood to do that. So that's snowed in, and there is a change on here in that I seem to have a knack for sewing things the wrong colour. So his hat should be this same pink. I think this is begonia. I think it's a week's colour. Not entirely sure. I can check because I've got it next to me. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it should be stitched in begonia, but it's clearly not stitched in begonia. So I haven't decided if I'm going to change that or not. I think I decided not to, but now I've stitched in the crimson for the rim of the bonnet. Is that true to life? It is pretty dark, but it's a bit more reddish in real life. You can see some of the colours coming through. I might now change that because I think it does clash a little bit. And then I started on the one down below. So this is one of the ones that I've been working on for the second part of the month. And I've almost finished it. I was just stitching this snowflake up the top here, but it's actually too high. It needs to come down a little bit, but I ran out at that time. And really frustratingly, it was only when I was doing this one that I realised I still have a colour missing. So the windows on this one are supposed to be stitched in Huckleberry, which is a sampler thread colour, which I don't have in my collection. But I'm going to have a look because I've got all of them in this pattern. So, and I'm sewing them in one piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look on these ones to see how often Huckleberry features. So I'm not sure, I don't know if that's that colour or if that's the blue that's in the scarf. But if it's predominantly the blue that's in the scarf, which I have, what I might do is then just switch out and use the DMC colour for that if it's only in small bits, because you know, I don't think it would make much difference, just kind of those windows, whether it's a variegated floss or not. So, and I'm just frustrated with this now for the fact that kind of there's been 2 times when I've gone to work on it and then found I've not had the colour that I need. So yeah, although saying that, I can't say with any confidence that I've got the DMC colour, because I don't have a full set of DMC threads. I have quite a lot, but I tend to just buy them when I need them for patterns rather than stock up. There's quite a price difference in the UK between the states, I know. So here, if I shop locally, for one skein it's 99p, although online you can buy it, I think, is it now 52p or 59p from Lakeside Needlecraft, which somebody on one of my previous videos recommended to me, so thank you very much for whoever, I forget now who told, I think there was a couple of you who let me know about that, but I don't need to order anything else, and I'm trying to stick to a budget with my what I spend on cross stitch. So I've never been completely you know, off the rails, so to speak, with what I spend, but I try to do it kind of that, you know, maybe once a month I order some bits and pieces, depending on kind of what's around and out there. Usually if I've seen something on somebody else's video, or that's usually what tempts me, but I do try to rein it in a bit and not go completely mad. And I did put an order in the last Maybank holiday, because Casa Sanina, a website that Gem Stitch talked about on one of her videos, was having a, I can't remember, I think it might have been a 15% off sale, 15 or 20% off. So that's why I ordered the additional week's dyes threads that I needed for this one. But then I've just got a few patterns that I bought at the same time. So the wrong way up. So the first one, I've had my eye on this one for a while, and I'd only seen it on an American website. But this is Petite Marché de Noël. Probably said that completely wrong, but basically a Christmas market. And I was lucky enough to go to a German Christmas market last year, and so I really wanted to do that. And actually it gives you the option at the top to stitch this in English, French, German, or I think the fourth option is Italian. So I'm going to stitch that one. I will stitch that in German. So that's quite a sweet little one. No timeline for starting it at the moment, but nice to have that kind of in my stash. Another one I've bought is this one by Hands On Design, which is a project with Hands On Design, but also So Much to Love, who do the project bags. So I'm lucky in that I have got a project bag from So Much to Love, and I did want to give it a go of making my own, and I've watched Fona, her video on making a project bag, which is with Velcro rather than with a zip. Because I've only ever put a zip in once before, so I did think I would try Fona's tutorial as well, but I think what I might do is a bit of mix and match. So I thought the good thing about this, I can buy the pattern, which is lovely, but it also gives you the instructions on how to make one of the project bags, so I can give that a go as well. So I've also purchased a big thing of fusible webbing, and I've bought some Velcro, and I've bought a couple of zips. I've got some giant rickrack. I've got a kind of a selection of coordinating materials, some that I've bought especially for it, but I also have quite a bit of material from some previous quilting projects I've done. So I'm going to give that a go at some point. I'm not quite sure when. Again, I've been really tempted to do some new starts recently, but I'm kind of holding out at the moment. I don't quite know when I'm going to do it. I have actually booked to go on my first stitching retreat in October, so I'm going to be going along to the Milton Keynes retreat, which I think is the last weekend in October. So my latest thing I'm kind of thinking is, let's see how much I can get done on my current projects, and maybe going away, that might be a nice time to start something new, and I certainly have plenty to choose from at that point. So for now, this will just go in my stash. And then the final one that I purchased, and this is how what first got me to look at the Casa Sinina website, was this pattern which Gem Stitch again had shown on her channel, and she's currently stitching this as part of a project. And this is the ABC alphabet with the cakes, which are absolutely beautiful. And so as soon as I knew that, I got an email alerting me to the fact that there was a sale. I knew that this would be one that would be going in my basket because it's lovely. And I can't quite decide what I'm going to do first, because it's also beautiful. I did kind of think I'd almost like to just stitch the whole thing as a sampler, because they are quite beautiful. And obviously if you stitched a name or if you stitched a saying, you wouldn't get all of the letters in. But that would be a really big project, so I'm also wondering whether I could just do like my initial and maybe just do a C, and that would look quite nice in a hoop. But it's not something I'm going to start now, so I don't really need to worry too much about it, but I'm really pleased to add that into my stash. So this is, just move it so you can see the top. Let's do that. It is a bit shiny because there's this across the top, but it's beautiful, and they've got it shown on here, different things kind of on an apron and then mounted on a box. So yeah, so that's my update for May. So a bit of a quick one for me. As I said, not much time for stitching because, you know, sometimes life does get in the way. June is looking a little bit more settled, hopefully. I think it will just depend of when my leaving date from work is and how much time I kind of get to close all things out. So I've got an office that I need to kind of sort out, and you know, now so much is kind of stored electronically. I need time to go through all of my files and sort that out and be able to hand it all over. So I'm thinking it will be better, but you know, who knows what kind of, I don't know my timeline at the moment, but we shall see. So yeah, so thank you everyone for watching, thank you for subscribing. I've enjoyed kind of catching up on a lot of Flosstube, which I haven't done. I think like most people, I'm completely behind at the moment, so I have actually got quite a lot to catch up on. And I know that recently I haven't been so great at leaving comments or feedback, and it's just a time thing. So hopefully with a bit more kind of time on my hands, I might be able to catch up a bit. But I have been watching, and I've I really enjoy being part of this community. So thank you to everyone who puts videos out, because I do understand as well the time commitment that this takes. So I think I shall stop talking now. I think I need to go and blow my nose and have a drink. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next month. Okay, bye. So I'm going to add on to the update I've done for May, because as soon as I finished, I remembered there were a couple of other things I wanted to do. So the first one I was going to do was Tracys Talking Tag. So I've opened up the video with it on. Didn't realise it was done all the way back in April, so I'm a little bit late to this, but I still thought I'd give it a go. So I've got them in front of me. So it starts off saying these words. So here goes. So aunt, root, wash, oil, theatre, iron, salmon, caramel, fire, water, shore, data, ruin, crayon, toilet, New Orleans, pecan, both, again, probably, spitting image, Alabama, lawyer, coupon, mayonnaise, syrup, pyjamas and court. So that's how I would say all of those words, so a little bit different I think than Tracy pronounced them. I have, I don't know where my accent's from, it's definitely southern England, so I've lived kind of south all of my life. I grew up mainly in Somerset, but I've lived all of my adult life in Oxfordshire, so I think I've got a cross between those two accents now. Now it's now answer these questions. What is it called when you throw toilet paper on a house? I would actually call that vandalism, because that's not something we do in the UK. And I would be really irritated if people threw toilet paper all over my house. It's not something I've ever understood why people do. So, yeah, I'm hoping that unlike Halloween, that doesn't become a thing in this country, because we seem to be inheriting quite a lot of American celebrations. I mean, Halloween is probably the example to think of, because that years ago you just didn't get trick-or-treating. It wasn't something that was celebrated, but now that seems to be more and more a thing that we do in this country. What is the bug that when you touch it, it curls into a ball? Why? I think, well, I would answer this and say this is a woodlouse. And I actually looked it up. And a woodlouse is known by quite a few different names. So whilst it's a woodlouse in the UK, I think it's also known as a pillbug, which I've heard a few people describe it on their in their answers. So yeah, pillbug or roly-poly. Apparently in Devon it's called a chiggy pig. So that's not an expression I've ever heard of. So I'm just waiting to hear if anyone describes that as a... Gosh, actually some of these are really funny. So if you live in Newfoundland, which obviously we have Pam Reed who lives there, it's a carpenter bug or a boat builder. If you are from Cornwall, it's a gramosow. Gramosow? I don't think we've got anyone from Cornwall. But Australia, mostly around Melbourne, it's known as a butcher boy or butchie boy. Well, there you go. So I think we probably are all talking about the same bug. What is the bubbly carbonated drink called? I usually call it a can. So it used to be in our house that, you know, if anyone was going out to the outside fridge where we stored the drink, it would be, yeah, can you get me a can? And then it would be, well, what flavour do you want? And it would be, you know, orange or Coke or whatever. So yeah, can I have a can, please? What do you call gym shoes? They're trainers, or when I was in primary school we used to call them daps, and I still do sometimes call them daps. What do you say to address a group of people? Hello. Very unexciting, just hello. What do you call the kind of spider that has an oval-shaped body and extremely long legs? A spider. Daddy long legs to me are the ones that fly. So those ones, not a spider. What do you call your grandparents? Granny and granddad. What do you call the wheeled contraption in which you carry groceries at the supermarket? That would be a trolley. What do you call it when rain falls when the sun is shining? Summer. That's UK weather, isn't it? I've never heard of sun shower, but I quite like that expression. But yeah, I would just call that summer. What is the thing that you change the TV channel with? I would call that the remote. So yeah, short for remote control. So yeah, so thank you, Tracy, for those questions. That was quite... I really enjoyed listening to everybody's answers on that one. The thing that you can see in front... the whip that you can see in front of you now, I'm just going to move it because I've got my yarn caught around the stand, is a pattern that I've been working on this for years. Basically, you're looking at the M in the middle of home, so that's the word that I've stitched out. This was an alphabet that was in Cross Stitcher magazine and was designed by Emily Peacock. And I took each of the letters and I decided that I wanted to do them on canvas rather than as a cross stitch to make into a pillow. And really it's kind of got that real circus kind of colouring to it. So if I pull back, I think you'll just be able to see. Don't know if I'll fit it all in. Ooh, just about. That's home. So as you can see, I've done the letters on it, but I've not finished the background. But Stephanie was asking about embroidery canvas work, and noticed that the wools that you use can be quite expensive, and I just commented on her in the comments on her update that yeah, it can be quite expensive, but what I've done in this one and in one of the other projects that I've done as well is that the The colours that are used for the letter, I used, I think it's the MC wool to do, but for the background I'm actually using a ball of yarn, so just a ball of wool to fill it in, so just to try and keep the cost down, because it does get quite pricey, and as you can see there's going to be quite a lot of background on this. So this is just, you're asking me what ply it is. I don't know. I mean, it's not a particularly thick ply. I don't know anything about wool really. I'm not a knitter or a crochet, but it's just a standard kind of, I don't think it was a particularly expensive purchase. Yeah, so I just bought one ball of, I think this is one ball, maybe I'm on my second ball of cream yarn, just to fill in the background. But as you can see, I've still got a fair way. I think I've done most of the kind of the intricate work around the letters. I'm just working on this bit here, and then I need to do the outside. I've never quite finished this because I put the pattern together myself from the individual letters. What I hadn't worked out is if I wanted some kind of border on it, so it's got this kind of this swirl work that's going on here. And I did wonder whether I repeated that some way around the outside, or I don't know, I need to kind of sit and think about it one day. So I think I haven't stitched on this for years. I think I started it probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's probably sat in the cupboard for about 2 years. So at some point I'll get back to it, but I just thought I'd add that on because I did say that I would try and add it into my next update, so Steph could kind of have a look at it and actually see what it looks like. But I don't think in terms of the effect on the stitching, kind of the quality that comes out, it's much different. The only thing I would say, but I think this applies for all of the kind of embroidery I've done with this stuff, because so this is it's like a tent stitch, if you like, on this one, is you have to work with much smaller lengths of yarn, because it does tend to fray more as you're kind of stitching with it. And I don't know if that's to do with the yarn or if it's to do with the canvas and whether it just kind of frays it a little bit. But yeah, it all seems to be, you know, gives quite a good finish. And of course, it should all be washable, so that's quite good. So anyway, I just thought I would tag this onto the end of my update. So again, I shall say goodbye. Okay, bye.